Hey, Pete the Peptide Guy here in the podcast lane. And today I have a special guest, Nick. I'm going to have you do the honors of saying your last name so I don't butcher it.
Hey, not a problem. Sir, it's Nic Magallanes.
Okay, great. And before we start, you had a PSA announcement.
I do. So it's Nic Magallanes, Senior Loan Officer with Green Home Loans. My NMLS ID number is 1853487. For Green Home Loans, our NMLS ID number is 2464753 per equal housing.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right, now we got business. Let's talk some fun.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So, first question I'll ask you, and I have a couple of questions I ask you,
Sure.
have here for you is loan officer.
Yes, sir.
How did you get into being a loan officer?
That's a good question. I get that a lot. So, as my wife and I are retiring, as I took an early retirement, we had to hurry up and sell our first home because in North Carolina, so the schools there were 9-3, where it was 9 months of school, 3 months here. It was 10.5, 1.5 here. So we had to hurry up and sell our property. Okay, so when everything went in, we missed out on $19,000 from the sale of our home. Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing we could do about it. That was very painful. So I got my license. And not only that, too, there's a lot of information out there that people don't know about. So I really pride myself on educating the public on mortgage financing, whether it's conforming or non-conforming, and to help people out.
Yeah, no, and I think that's where most of the best education comes from, is some experience, right? So
Yes,
you know
sir.
kind of where it went wrong, and then you fixed it
Right.
on your end to give the knowledge out. So you said service. So could you describe what you're talking about? You retired from where?
Yes, sir. I'm a retired United States Marine. My wife, she served the longest. She was able to do 20 years in the Navy, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your service.
Appreciate you.
And it's an honor to have you here. So what is it like? What do you enjoy the most about being a loan officer?
Well, there's a lot of things, but if I had to narrow it down, I'll say that the one thing is because there's always skepticism, okay? And then people have what's called false evidence appearing real, which is fear, all right?
Mhm.
Well, look, let's sit down and talk. And then we did get all the pertinent information. Then I realized, you know what? You could have bought when you were ready to. You didn't have to wait. And then those that aren't ready, well, let's come up with a plan because there's never a guarantee.
Right.
Nobody can guarantee financing, but I can guarantee you an outcome, whether it's in 6 months, 2 years, or 4 years. If you work with me, I'll get you there.
Right. Yeah. Do you find that people actually go to that choice first after speaking with you? They're like, yeah, you know what? That makes perfect sense. I'd rather do that than a 30-year mortgage.
Yes and no.
Okay.
And I say, yeah, yes, because they want to go ahead and figure out what they can get done. Okay, but no, it's because there's always, as I'll call the person, heard a buddy. And like, well, it's heard a buddy. Well, I heard from a buddy. There's always somebody that knows my job better than me. Let me tell you something.
I hear you.
So, but yes, when we're able to get that process going,
Mhm.
and I tell them, I said, look, I don't have to do a hard credit check. I can check one bureau, soft credit check, and then we have a baseline. So let's see what we're working with.
Yeah. The percentage of people would you say like that approach?
Truthfully, it's hit or miss
Yeah.
because sometimes, like as recent, I worked with an individual that was wanting to get a specific mortgage that was specified to their position. Okay, unfortunately, they didn't meet the criteria, but I still worked with them. I said, look, okay, because we have different products. Like we'll have stuff that's specific for the medical personnel, first responders personnel, investors. There's plenty of things. Okay, if you don't meet the merit, well, let's figure it out. Okay, and then after everything was done, because my consultations were anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours, and every 30 minutes I recap to make sure I didn't miss anything. But if I've gone through everything and then all of a sudden you talk to somebody else and they tell you what you want to hear and you go in a different direction, well, I can't do nothing about that.
Right.
So those that actually hone in and listen, I would probably say about 30%.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah. That's pretty good though, and I get the whole, yeah, the they said people, and
because I'm not going to tell people what you want to hear, okay? And if I can't meet with you in person, let's do a Zoom call. Let's do a Microsoft Teams call. Let's do a Google Meets. Let's do even FaceTime so you can see the pricing because the pricing's everything.
right.
And then I can explain the numbers. And I always say, remember, it's an estimate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like it's just not a loan officer. You're actually kind of like you're really holding their hand the whole process, and you're giving them options and different things that they might not have seen before.
Well, it's pertinent because that's the biggest, with the exception of getting married, with the exception of bringing a beautiful child into this world. It's the biggest financial. I mean, we're talking anywhere from 100,000 to up to 5 million, and some people up to 14 million.
Right.
It's a heck of an investment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're not as well versed, then do you want somebody that's gonna tell you what you want to hear, or somebody that's gonna be real with you?
Yeah. No, and again, that's being authentic, right? And that's being really, the person that you'd want to work with you, and that's why, I want to seek you out.
Yes, sir.
So what's the biggest thing interest rate wise people should be looking out for coming down the pipeline?
Okay, well, and here's the thing, because during the great interest rate giveaway, well, people don't realize. So during the great interest rate giveaway, so this home right here, okay, there would be a bidding war on that period, and there would be an open house. Everybody would be trying to get in this open house, okay, and that home would bid for anywhere from 50 to almost $150,000 over asking price there. Everybody got a 2% interest rate. Now you take that same property, okay, you're looking at 6 to 8, no, not 8%. You're looking at anywhere between 5.5 to 7.5% interest rate. The cost of the home, there's not going to be a bidding war. And now people are giving you money. They're giving you sellers concessions to buy down the interest rate to different types of pricing. Let's work with you to get in the home.
Mm-hmm.
So, is now the time to buy? It is, because yes, when the rates go down, the cost of the homes are going to go up.
Right.
So whether you may get happy, well, I got a 3% interest rate, awesome. Do you qualify because the home value is almost higher? So do I think now is the time? It is. And you don't want to wait for the rates to go down, because the cost of the homes will go up. So you'll be in the same position that you are now if you wait.
Yeah, no, that's a great education that you're giving, because I think people always hear when the price goes down or interest rates go down, that's like a thumbs up, right? That's good for me. Yeah,
It is, but it
it
isn't.
isn't, right? Exactly. Yeah, no, the way you explained it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So besides the fact that you're a very dynamic person, you have a amazing background and human being. Um, what should people know about Nic?
What people should know about Nic is, because I get asked that question all the time, and I'm glad you put me on the spot there. I'm not, you put me on,
I
what
know
I
what
mean.
you.
But the thing is, people always say, and just like when I talk to real estate agents, whether it's in Pine Top
Mhm.
or those that work in Paradise Valley, they always say, okay, well, what separates you? One thing, okay, work ethic. Because I served in the United States Marine Corps during the height of operations or Rocky Freedom and Enduring Freedom. And a lot of people don't understand that it was train, 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 deploy, 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 train, 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 deploy, deploy, deploy. Okay? You didn't sleep, you didn't see your family, and you weren't eating. So that mindset of, accomplishing the mission, burning the midnight oil, sometimes staying up, no joke, for about 30, anywhere from 30 to 32 hours you got to get the mission accomplished. You got to get things ready for the training op. Okay?
Right.
So coming here, it's not something to be successful in this business and to help people out. 40 hours work, unfortunately, is not going to cut it.
Right.
You need to be available for your people. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the work ethic. So it's not something I'm going to say, well, you're not qualified. Well, wait a minute. Let's see, there's other avenues. We like for self-employed, we got bank statement. Let's look at the bank statement. Okay, so instead of going just this one route, we're going to try these other routes, because somebody's going to say yes. It's going to take some time. So it's the work ethic piece. And plus, I don't give up. Okay, you can't give up. And that's one of the things that I wasn't just taught that. I was taught that, growing up. I didn't have a really good, upbringing, but you can't let what's going around you get the best of you. Because if you do, then this business will eat you alive.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, there's a lot of competition in this space, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I never realized that how dynamic it was being a loan officer. Most people don't talk about it, right? So they're just kind of like, oh yeah, I asked for money and I got it, or I asked for the money and I didn't get it.
Yes, and because everybody, I'm not gonna say everybody. Let me rescind that statement. So you see a lot of, on stuff on social media,
Mhm.
stuff on advertising. Okay, But what's going to separate you? What do you do differently?
Yeah.
Okay, so like for me, I do stuff like this. Like next week I'll be working the Maricopa County Veteran Stand Down. I'm going to have a booth, all right, and I'm just going to say, look, it's Q&A, and just like I put out a reel, so mortgage fraud is on the rise. Okay, so there's three things to do. Ask when someone calls, like if I call you, ask for my NMLS number,
Right.
ask for the name of the company and the company's NMLS, and then if you're still kind of skeptic, then ask, hey, would you mind walking me through the internet? How to verify. And if somebody that you're on the phone with doesn't tell you that, or they won't tell you that in person, that's a violation of the SAFE Act of 2008 because we are required to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's that again, that little piece of information is huge because you're gonna have people out there that think, this guy called me and I didn't ask that number, and then now all of a sudden my information's out there, right?
And, and before I ask you to, for your social and your date of birth, because that's one pertinent information that's necessary. So before I do that, put me on speakerphone, go to the internet, do something, and I'm going to walk you through how to get me validated, because all of our information after 2008 and per Dodd-Frank has to be public. Everything.
Awesome. So Nick, tell the audience how they reach you because they definitely need your help.
Well, don't look up because I am short. You got to make sure you're looking down. Okay. So, 602-621-3061. I'm available. I do have a website as well, nicmagallanes.com. So, I'm available.
Fantastic. Hey, Nick, it was really a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for educating us on what a loan officer is and should be.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
you
much.
having me.
Got it.